Rev up your engines! Now, to help everyone out in the coming recession, I'm going to talk about the 5 best cars to buy during a recession. Now, of course, it's always wise to spend your money frugally anyway, but in a recession, there's special things you want to think about, and that is money coming in versus money going out. Since everything's going down, oil, stocks, everything, why not take advantage of that? The price of gas is going to be cheap for quite some time. So do you really want to spend $60,000 to $150,000 on an electric car? Might rethink that one. Gas mileage isn't as big of a deal. As gas gets cheaper, you still don't want a gigantic gas guzzler. Hey, that's still money you gotta shell out. Do you really want to buy a late model car that's got a little bitty 3 or 4 cylinder engine with turbochargers and GDI? That stuff's expensive to fix when it breaks. That's to get the most you can out of gasoline. If gasoline's cheap, maybe not priority number 1. What you want in a recession is a reliable car that's not going to break down. Not a tremendous gas hog. You don't want something that gets 6 miles a gallon, but you really don't have to worry about the 56 mile a gallon jobs either. My first pick is a Crown Victoria. They are big. You can fit a lot of people in those things. They were pre-SUV. You get one with a tried and true Ford V8 engine that doesn't have a turbocharger, GDI, plain old engine. They have plenty of power. They can carry a lot of people. And on a highway, they still get 20-something miles a gallon. That's just gas going to be relatively cheap probably for quite some time. Take advantage of that. Now, I'm not saying go buy a big old brand new giant SUV gas guzzler, because first of all, if you're going to spend $60,000 to $90,000 for some giant SUV, there goes your money right there, either paying cash or finance it and having these giant monthly payments. To me, it's kind of ironic that what could kill the giant SUVs is not bad gas mileage, but the fact that new ones cost too much money. And in a recession, guess what? People aren't going to be spending $80,000 for an SUV. At least most people aren't. They're going to look for a more practical solution. And you can fit a lot of people in a Crown Vic or a Mercury Grand Marquis, pretty much the same type of vehicle. Somebody might say, hey, Scotty, why not have a car at all? What the heck? Recession, you don't want to spend any money. But there have been studies done that show that people who have a car are twice as likely to get a good job. And then once they get that job, they're 4 times as likely to keep that job versus someone who's taking public transportation. So realize that even in a recession, you're probably still going to need a car. Now, the next recession-proof car you could get, especially if you got a family or home people around, is a venerable Toyota Camry. Yeah, boring, but they've sold millions of them. I got a customer that's 500,000 miles on one, still running strong. You can get used ones cheap enough, or you can get later model ones that cost a bit more, but they're going to last a really long time. If you are looking at one, stick to the 4-cylinder ones. They last longer with less breakdown. They're easier to work on. Take the V6 ones. As they get old, if you get a valve cover gasket leak, you got to take the intake manifold off, so you might as well change the coils while you're at it. Big expense. 4-cylinder engine, take you half an hour to do that same job. Find the most logical, easiest to repair, least breaking down machine. And a Ford or Camry, yeah, that's just a no-brainer. Those things can run forever. And yeah, they're boring. But when you're in a recession, boring, hey, it can be a good thing. You want something that gets decent gas mileage, still has a reasonable amount of power, and doesn't give you repair bills all the time. You really can't beat a Toyota Camry. Now, let's say you want to get a good small truck. Now, of course, I'd say Toyota Tacoma. Little bitty ones, 4-cylinder engines in them. But there's a big problem with them. People want a ton of money for them. Even the old ones can go for $10,000, $12,000 when they have 150,000 miles or something on it. Maybe you should look for an alternative to one of those if money's tight. The Little Rangers. Nice small pickup truck. They can last a long time. My neighbor over there's got one, he's got 250,000 miles on the thing. Still running strong. Big advantage here, it's a Ford. Parts are cheaper and they're readily available. You don't have to worry about buying a vehicle that may not be bad, like this little bitty Isuzu pickup. Decent little pickup, but it does have 177,000 miles on it, proving that it's been a reliable little truck. This one's 22 years old, but this one's got 177,000 miles. Let's say you found one that had 80,000 or 100,000. Still might have a lot of life left in it, and you want it to pay that much for an Isuzu pickup in the United States, so, you know, you might think something like that, but a Ford Ranger would actually be a better deal because the parts are all available. There's millions of them out there to choose from. Maybe you'll pay a little bit more for one that's newer and nicer, or you want to go bottom line, you get an old clunker, it's got a little rust on it, but it still drives down the road. And in that respect, another small truck that wouldn't be bad, the Nissan Frontier. I've had customers with Nissan Frontier. I had one the other day, he's got two of them. They both have over 160,000 miles. He runs a little business with them, and he's been real happy with what he paid and when he got out of the Nissan Frontier pickup truck. And you can pick those up a lot cheaper. And being a Nissan, the parts are a lot easier to get in the United States than in an Isuzu. The next recession-proof vehicle, a Honda Civic. If you can get by with a smaller car, they're really well made. They get very good gas mileage. I got one customer's got 350,000 miles on his. They're practically equivalents of the Toyota Corolla, which would be another one if you can have a smaller car. A lot of people like the Civics better because they're a little zippier. Honda makes a little faster engines, and they do have a little tighter handling than the Corollas do. Now, ages ago, they only came in 2 doors, they're cramped and stuff, but Civics have been made for 4 doors for a long time, just like the Corollas, so you need a 4-door car. Hey, they still have a reasonable amount of room inside. And since they've made the Civics forever, parts are real easy to get to, and there's an insane aftermarket. I don't advise souping up cars in a recession. The more you soup them up, the faster they're going to wear out. You don't want to put a supercharger or turbocharger on it. The plain car is just great for transportation that doesn't cost much to buy if you get a good used one. Doesn't cost that much to repair because they can last so long and get good gas mileage. Now, the fifth recession-proof vehicle I'm going to talk about here that you could buy. I know a lot of people, regardless of what's happening, they got to have their SUV. Get a Toyota Highlander. They sold tons of them because they can last so long. Got a customer with a Highlander, it's got 550,000 miles. Original tranny. Original engine. Yeah, I had to put one air conditioning compressor on it, but hey, it's not that big of a deal going that many miles. For an SUV, they're okay gas mileage, and hey, the price of gas is probably going to be low for quite some time, so that's not that big of a thing to think about these days. I know a lot of people say, oh, they're boring, they're plain Jane, the Acuras are faster, the Lexus ride better, and yeah, there's always a little bit here better, a little bit there better, but as an all-round SUV, the Highlanders can run forever with very little maintenance and still be totally dependable. And when they do break, heck, I get parts from them all the time down the street at an AutoZone. It's not like when I was a young mechanic and, oh, these foreign cars, you can't get parts for them and they cost a bunch. Hey, that's not true for Toyota parts like that. Just a plain old Highlander. Yeah, if you go into the Lexus SUVs, they're great vehicles, but the parts on them do cost an awful lot more money. Just because it says Toyota, parts are going to be cheaper. You couldn't make a better SUV pick than a Toyota Highlander if you want something that you can get and keep for a really long time. And of course, if you're looking at a van, hey, the Toyota Sienna van is basically the van version of that. So if you're a van person, I definitely say you'd go out and get a Toyota Sienna van. Those are the things that can just go the absolute longest with the least amount of repairs. For example, one of my sons bought a used Sienna van, and he just saw, hey, the van had so much more space. There is a lot more room in the vans. There's no arguing that. You might decide, gee, do I really want a big van and it's going to be handy, or do I want a big SUV that's got enough room for everybody? But that's more your lifestyle choice more than anything else. A Sienna van or a Highlander SUV, they're both excellent vehicles that can last and last. And in a recession, that's what you want. You don't have to keep fixing things or keep buying expensive new things, have a big monthly payment. No, you want to stay away from that. So now you know, 5 great recession-proof vehicles. And as for me, I still got my old Celica. You know, it's been through various recessions, and who knows how many more future ones it'll go through too. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.